Aloha, it was wonderful seeing you today. Tell you what, concentrate on the first 4 lines of page 2. We're expressing ourselves using the B, first finger down. We're expressing ourselves with the second finger down, the A, and then we have the third finger down, the G. When we play these 3 lines, make sure that you're giving each note the time that it deserves by blowing through the fuselage and making sure that we're not squeaking right off the bat as going like. When we put our mouth in the right place, we will have the instrument leaning right to us. So when we put our lip on the end and do this, like we we're talking about, teeth on top, too far on the end won't give enough. Too much on the top end will make it a little bit too sharp. And what we're looking for is the easy in between. You can move all that forward and keep it there. But remember, when we want to go for a note, we want to keep all of our fingers down on our pads. And the idea is we're not going to wait to blow air, then push the note. We, in fact, want to read these notes as being fluid. B, in this first example, goes for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4, rest 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4, rest 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4, rest 2, 3, 4. And it'll sound exactly like this. As soon as I'm done with the line, then I put my instrument down, or else I'm not concert ready. The line 2 expresses ourselves through the A, doing the same thing. Please keep it for the right ordination. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest 2, 3, 4. 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 Instrument down. Reason why I say this is it allows us to remember when to breathe and when not to. For all these exercises, please go through the whole 8 measures without taking a breath. Take one in the beginning. A, 1, 2, ready, go. The next line, line 3, is going to be working on both of those notes. We're going to be playing the A to the B, A, rest. B to the A to the B, rest. Remember, these are whole note rests, so we rest for 4 counts. These are all whole notes because they have no stem and the note head is not filled in. Here we go. 1, 2, ready with the A. Wonderful. The idea behind that is we want to keep our fingers on there, not use our tongue for any reason. Just switch the notes. Let the saxophone naturally go between the 2 notes so they blend and bleed together from one tone to the other. There will be no slur. There will be no sloop. It's a direct movement from one note to another. This being a major second. Our next line, the 4th line, is where we introduce our G. Remember, B, A, G. This is the foundation to start playing the notes below here. When we start moving down, we start using a mechanism of different pads. The D, the E, the F, the J. The idea is we want to get accustomed to playing the B, the A, and then the G, and then move down to these. One of the things I'm going to have you do at the end of this session is to work on your octave button where your thumb resides. But let's do line 4, page 2 of the Rubank Elementary Method, Volume 1. Here we go. 1, 2, don't breathe. Nice. That was our G. I would like for you to go for the rest of these. Do the 5 line, 6 line, 7 line, 8 line, and 9 line. And then the 10th line, ignore that line, go back up to the top and do all of those at double the speed. Meaning, you would do the first line. Second line. Third line. And then the fourth line. Try and get those notes to come right out rather than squeaking through the mouthpiece until you find the right embouchure. That's what we work on our own with this off of the whole saxophone while we're just getting used to the feeling of it. And then we put that behind our notation. First of which being these notes of a G major scale. When we have those notes, the G, the A, the B, the C, the D, all pads down, E, all pad, and then 2, and then our F sharp, the only sharp in the key of G, we're able to express ourselves by using the 1, 3, 5, and 1, which is a very, very common thing to do. Since we know our F sharp is right before our our F sharp is right before our G, we can utilize that in fashion. It makes a melody. You see where I'm going with this. If we go a half step below one of the notes we're trying to get, like let's say F sharp to G, well, to me that sounds like a pretty cool melody line. In fact, that sounds like the beginning of Trailer Park Boys meme. So what we would do is we would learn what key that's in, find the notes. We probably wouldn't have a C sharp. Or we might. Sounds probable. The idea is we talk about modes after we learn the scales. So when we get through page 2, which is our whole notes and half notes, we do page 3, our whole notes and whole notes, whole note beats and whole notes rest. We do page 3, which are our half notes, and then they combine a couple of those whole notes in the next couple measures. And then when we get to the bottom of the page 9, we have our duet. We did that today in our session. I just want to play both duet lines from page 3, bottom of the page from the 9th example. Here we go. In one breath, top. We're playing this in cut time. We did count it like this in practice so you could get it. However, cut time is half of that, so we're going to play a little quicker. 1, 2, 1, 2. Little squeaky there at the end. The bottom line is going to look as such. We're going to have our different, but they fit together. We didn't play the bottom line together. I played the bottom line in practice, and then you played the top. But what I'd like you to do is to learn both, so you're accustomed to reading both duet lines. The bottom line is an E. We're going to play that low E, all 3, and then 2 down. When we play those together, some of them are in unison, some of those are in intervals. What we're going to do next week is we're going to talk about what the bottom line, that E note, is in correlation to the top line, the C note. And when we talk about it, we're going to say, oh, C to an E is a third. More importantly, it's a major third. We're going to start looking for those all over the place when we're trying to do melodic runs. The idea is when sight reading, we want to know what a triad looks like, being played in stack chords and being played linearly in music formation. Now, besides getting 2 notes out of your saxophone, which is possible, we generally don't see chords for saxophone being stacked unless we're playing with an ensemble. And in that case, it would be us just reading an SATB line, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, just for the melody lines. What happens when you're playing with other people is these horns, the woodwinds, the brass, they all tend to really mesh together quite finely. If you need a couple examples on what kind of sound we would be getting out of music, which is not just what you've heard, like maybe a little bit of country, bluegrass, jazz, I could give you some examples from some top players if you would like, but I don't want to bombard you with anybody too soon because I don't want it to discourage you. I think you're doing a wonderful job on your own. Work on your armature. And then lastly, what I was talking about is get your octaves. Go to your D that we know, B, A, G, F, or F sharp, either one, you can do them all, E, and G. When we do the low note, no octave finger. When we do the high note, hit the octave. I want you to go on one breath between them twice. It'll sound like this. What you'll notice is you can't hit the lower one unless you loosen your lip. This is a great practice to get the embouchure to hit the higher notes and the lower notes naturally. The next note we would do would be E. Moving my fingers is to show you what pad I'm playing. Otherwise, I would normally keep my fingers exactly on those pads. Hit this high note down here, and then for your last D note you're going to be hitting your trigger pad over here. We're going to call this one the M. I think it's the M. M and yes, M. Right there. When we hit it up top and the octave, we get our high D. And we'll show you the lower register next week. Very good seeing you. Aloha.